It's the most consumed meal in the world after bread and rice. Over 120 billion servings are devoured every single year. Whether you're a broke college student at 3 a.m. or a rushed salaryman in Tokyo, you've all poured boiling water over this little block of dried dough. It seems simple, right? Flour, water, and a little packet of powder. Yet the instant noodle isn't just a meal. It's one of the greatest miracles of 20th century industrial engineering. An invention born from post-war famine in Japan, designed by a stubborn genius named Momofuku Ando. How can a simple dough sit on a shelf for months and become perfectly savory again after just 3 minutes in hot water? Welcome to Made in Cognito. Today we're infiltrating the giant factories to understand how science and industry transform plain flour into a global empire. It all starts on a monumental scale. Inside these gigantic silos, tons of ultra-fine wheat flour are sifted. But if you try to make noodles at home with just water and flour, you'll end up with a mushy paste. The secret to Asian noodles, their vibrant yellow color and elastic texture, doesn't come from eggs. It comes from the water. Factories use a very specific alkaline solution called kansui, a mix of sodium and potassium carbonate. When the kansui hits the flour, a chemical reaction takes place. It tightens the gluten network. This is what gives the noodle that famous chewiness typical of ramen. The dough becomes dense, robust, and ready to endure the tortures of the machines. The dough is then swallowed by a series of massive steel rollers. With every pass, it gets crushed and stretched down to a millimeter thin sheet. Next comes the cutting stage. Rotary blades slice the sheet into hundreds of continuous threads at breakneck speed. But look closely. As they come out, the noodles aren't straight. They're wavy. And that's not just for looks, it's pure engineering. Why the waves? First, it prevents the dough threads from sticking together on the conveyor belts. Second, when they form a block, these waves will create air pockets. It's this empty space that allows boiling water to penetrate everywhere and cook the noodle evenly in 3 minutes. The noodle's design is built for thermodynamics. Contrary to popular belief, instant noodles aren't raw in their packet. They are pre-cooked. They first travel down a 30-foot conveyor belt enclosed in a steam tunnel, saturated at 100 at source, 212 degrees. The starch gelatinizes, the noodle is cooked, but it's still soaked with water. If packaged like this, it would rot in a few days. It has to be dried. And this is where Momofuku Ando had his absolute stroke of genius in 1958, flash frying. The blocks are plunged into palm oil at 150 degrees C, 300 degrees, for exactly 2 minutes. The thermal shock is incredibly violent. The water trapped deep inside the noodle boils instantly and escapes as steam. By evaporating so fast, the water leaves behind millions of microscopic holes in the dough's structure. The noodle becomes a rigid sponge. And guess what's going to fill those holes 6 months later? Your boiling water. That is the secret to instant rehydration. The fried block emerges from the oil. It now contains only 3% moisture. It can sit on a shelf for a year without refrigeration. Massive industrial fans blow freezing air to set the blocks and strip away excess oil. It's time for final assembly. Robotic arms drop the holy grail with surgical precision, the seasoning packet. A concentrate of salt, spices, and, of course, if you watched our previous episode, you know, our famous flavor enhancer, MSG, guaranteeing that umami explosion with every sip of broth. The machines wrap hundreds of packets a minute. They are boxed, palletized, and shipped to every corner of the globe. Next time you tear open that little plastic bag and pour in the hot water, take a second to think about it. You're not just making a quick meal on the go. You are reactivating a feat of chemical, mechanical, and thermodynamic engineering. Tell me in the comments what other everyday product you'd like us to infiltrate next. See you soon.